Cannot believe what I am reading. Too many people are skipping over this. Marco Rubio just signed a ban on all legal visa processings. That's insane. Legal visa processing ban. So people who have been here for 10, 15, 5 years, who have been going through the system legally, have just been shut out. And it's not just a small ban. 75 countries, not 7, not 17, 75 countries. That's almost half the world. He just put a ban on.
Wait. Let's make sure everyone caught that. Legal visa processing, not illegal, legal. People who were doing everything by the book, following every rule, paying every fee, waiting in line for years. 75 countries just got shut out. College students, nurses, tech workers, researchers, people who were contributing to this country. And this is indefinite, not temporary, not a pause, indefinite. Meaning it could last for years with no end date in sight. So the next time someone says, we just want legal immigration, remember this moment. Remember that the legal path just got slammed shut too.
One man just put a signature down and put a ban on millions of people. This means college students, tech talent, nurses, professors, people who are coming to shape the country to be a better place. And he just slammed the door shut. And it's not a temporary ban, it's indefinite. So the administration can hold this off for years. Millions of people. Had this happened in the 90s, many of you wouldn't be here today. If this Trump administration put this ban in place in the 90s, this country would look completely different. This was once a country that was diverse. We thrived on diversity, inclusion, a melting pot. And Marco Rubio just put a ban on legal visa processings. That is insane.
Here's what people don't understand about immigration bans like this. When you slam the door on talent, that talent doesn't just disappear. It goes somewhere else. China, Europe, Canada, India. Places that are happy to take skilled workers. Places that are rolling out the red carpet right now. America became powerful by attracting the best minds in the world. That's not patriotic fluff. That's economic history. Einstein was an immigrant. Google was co-founded by an immigrant. Half of Silicon Valley was built by immigrants. So when you cheer for closed borders, you're cheering for brain drain. And brain drain means your kids have fewer opportunities. Your hospitals have fewer nurses. Your companies have less innovation. Your economy grows slower. Think long term, not just what feels good today.
Do not skip over this headline.
We need to talk about the Insurrection Act because President Trump is talking about the Insurrection Act. He wrote today, if the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, all in caps, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty that is taking place in the once great state. Now, obviously, Trump is responding to the unrest we are seeing on the ground in Minneapolis, Minnesota, after he ordered what he calls the largest federal immigration crackdown in U.S. history. Now, there is a lot in that post that is Trump's opinion and perspective, which you may or may not agree with. But the reality is, when it comes to invoking the Insurrection Act, Trump's perspective and opinion on the situation is really the only thing that matters. So if Trump does invoke the Insurrection Act, which he has not done yet, what does that actually look like and what does that mean? Well, the Insurrection Act is technically not one law, it's a bunch of laws that have been around for more than 100 years. This set of laws authorizes the President of the United States to deploy the U.S. military within the borders of the United States to 1. Suppress an insurrection in a state if asked to do so by a governor. 2. To suppress a rebellion or enforce laws when ordinary judicial proceedings are insufficient. Or 3. To suppress insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy that obstructs state or federal law execution which deprives citizens of their constitutional rights and authorities cannot protect them. So the question is, what's the definition of rebellion and insurrection? Well, the law defines it as inciting, setting foot, assisting, or engaging in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States, the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort to those who do. Now, if you've ever looked up a word in the dictionary and the definition includes the word you're looking up, you know that's not a definition. It's a problem because you're still left wondering, What does that word actually mean?
This is actually important. Pay attention here. The Insurrection Act is so vague that whoever's in power basically gets to decide what counts as insurrection. There's no clear definition, no objective criteria, just vibes. That should scare everyone, left or right. Doesn't matter what team you're on, because today it's one city. Tomorrow it could be yours. Today it's people you disagree with. Tomorrow it could be your protest, your community. Know your rights. First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. These don't disappear just because soldiers show up. They're still the law. Educate yourself now, not when you're in the middle of it. By then it's too late.
And that's what we have with the Insurrection Act. The issue with this set of laws is that they are extremely vague. They are overbroad, and they can be easily interpreted in any way, which leaves them vulnerable to abuse because of the lack of definition. Congress has not updated these laws that clarify those definitions in more than 100 years, and the courts have really not gotten involved in it either. That's why I said the only opinion that matters when it comes to invoking the Insurrection Act is Trump's. Because what we know for sure about the law is it clearly states the president has the power to invoke the Insurrection Act if he believes what he sees on the ground qualifies as an insurrection or rebellion. So if Trump does invoke the Insurrection Act, what does that look like? Well, normally U.S. military cannot be on the streets of America conducting civilian law enforcement operations because of the Posse Comitatus Act, which explicitly bans that from happening because of the real threat to civil liberty. But the Insurrection Act is a valid exception to the Posse Comitatus Act. So if Trump does invoke the Insurrection Act, you will probably see the U.S. military on the streets of Minneapolis working alongside ICE agents and Homeland Security officers. The Insurrection Act does not limit the number of military members the president can send to an area like Minnesota. But most importantly, you need to understand, the Insurrection Act does not invalidate your constitutional rights. Your First, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth Amendment rights to free speech, to your right to silence, your right to have a lawyer, your right to not be subject to unreasonable search and seizures, those are all still intact. They will still need a warrant, even if it's the U.S. military asking while being deployed through the Insurrection Act. Now, I could talk about this forever. President Trump has absolutely threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act in the past, and other presidents have absolutely used the Insurrection Act before. But there is one key difference between this threat from Trump and all the other times it's actually been used in the past. And I'm going to talk all about that in a special post in my Substack tonight. So make sure you follow these easy steps and you sign yourself up so you don't miss it.
This country is collapsing. We are witnessing the collapse of America. Not someday, not hypothetically, right now, right before our eyes. The American people have been pushed into a corner. They're being grabbed, detained, crammed into vehicles, and even murdered. There is no accountability, no consequences. Political leaders have failed us miserably and are failing us miserably. Military leadership is non-existent, and the people are being left to deal with this all alone. This isn't about parties anymore. This isn't about ideology. This is about a system that no longer protects its own citizens and no longer answers to them. The response from those in power is not solutions. This is force, it's silence, it's pretending that this can be controlled and everything will be okay. Now, I'm not calling for violence, but I am saying we are being abandoned. So hear this clearly. The only way this country comes back is if the people take it back. We pull our support financially, we pull our money, we pull our votes, we refuse to keep feeding a system that is destroying us. There is no one coming to save us. We must protect each other, stay alert, stay sharp, be careful, and hold the line, my friends. Hold the line.
All right. I get the emotion here, I really do, but let's stay grounded. America's been through worse. Civil wars, depressions, world wars, Watergate. We're still here. The country isn't as fragile as it feels in the moment. But what she's right about, pull your money, pull your votes, build community. Those are concrete actions that actually matter. Local elections matter more than national ones. That's where police budgets get decided. That's where school boards operate. That's where zoning happens. That's where your daily life actually gets shaped. Stop obsessing over the big stage and start paying attention to your backyard. That's where real change happens. City councils, county commissioners, school boards, show up there.
So there you have it, the Insurrection Act, what we all knew was coming. Donald Trump saying today that if Minneapolis doesn't get control of its people, then Donald Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act. This has been the playbook that we've seen for months now. Sending in militarized ICE agents with masks and excessive violence, untrained, unqualified, designed to incite violence, to inflame tensions, all to provide a pretext so Donald Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and usurp more power under his own control. Don't be fooled. This was the plan all along. This is what Stephen Miller wanted. Send in these rogue, unqualified agents to use excessive force, militarized violence, masked, approaching people and demanding identification as if that's something that ever happens in the United States. It's all part of the playbook. Do not be fooled. We saw this coming. Do not fall for it. There is no grounds for the Insurrection Act unless Donald Trump wants to call for it against his ICE officers.
She's saying the chaos is intentional. Provoke a reaction, then point at the reaction as justification for more force. Classic playbook. Whether you believe that's a conspiracy or just pattern recognition, the practical advice is the same. Don't give them the excuse. Don't play into the script they've already written. Document, record, stay calm. That footage wins in court. That footage changes narratives. That footage gets shown on news channels and shifts public opinion. Getting into confrontations? That just becomes their footage. That's the clip they play on loop to justify everything that comes next. Be strategic, be smart, play the long game.
It has now been confirmed that yes, Donald Trump did receive and accept the Nobel Peace Prize, which was presented to, right here, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. In this photo, which was provided from the White House to Reuters and now put online, you can see the Nobel Peace Prize here inside of a frame with a couple different things. I'll read them out to you. On top it reads, "To President Donald J. Trump, in gratitude for your extraordinary leadership in promoting peace through strength, advancing diplomacy, and defending liberty and prosperity." You can then see the prize here in the middle. Down below it says the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize medal awarded to Maria Corina Machado. Then, I know this is kind of hard, but I will read it for you. Presented as a personal symbol of gratitude on behalf of the Venezuelan people in recognition of President Trump's principled and decisive action to secure a free Venezuela. Ending with, "The courage of America and its President Donald J. Trump will never be forgotten by the Venezuelan people." As a reminder, Trump can receive the Nobel Peace Prize from Maria, but it doesn't mean that he was awarded it. And that's what the Nobel Committee had stated not only this week, but also in the past. One of the questions that you guys also had was, well, if Trump was given this and he's the president, does he personally get to keep this? And well, yes, if this was presented to him, then yes, it's not technically a gift to America. It was a gift to Donald Trump. Big question is this a big enough gift that will then put Maria in Trump's good light so that when a new government is formed in Venezuela, will Maria be the next president?
Just a friendly reminder that this is no longer about Trump. Trump is the symbol of the cult, but not a real person to them anymore. I would almost bet money that they're going to stop focusing on Donald Trump, the man, and focus on Trumpism, which is the core of their beliefs.
And you know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. Free, you got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But no, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms.
So if anyone had hope that Trump could just walk out onto a stage and just convince the crowd to get vaccines, this is the proof that they're not ever going to do that. Because it's not about Trump. It's about their own personal egos. The exceptionalism that they've felt for almost their entire lives is being questioned, because it should be. That is what's keeping them inside of this sort of cognitive dissonance soup, the weird film at the top.
You can't logic someone out of a position they didn't logic themselves into. That's the hard truth. When identity becomes more important than facts, facts stop mattering. When belonging to the group matters more than being right becomes irrelevant. So what works? Questions. Let people talk themselves into contradictions. Plant seeds of doubt. Don't argue. Inquire. Ask, How does that work exactly? Instead of, you're wrong. It's slow. It's frustrating. It takes patience you might not feel like giving, but it's the only thing that actually moves the needle. Yelling at people just makes them dig in deeper.
Feminist but voted for Trump, defends Trump and Conservative Party and Republican. I saw her video she just posted replying to a comment that says, oh, she's white, what do you expect? And then she replied, oh, so you hate black and Mexican women that voted for Trump too? Yeah, what? She seems so smart. I didn't think it's possible to be so blinded by her privilege. You can't be a feminist and not support marginalized people. Feminism is supporting all marginalized people, all oppressed people, all people who have been through the same pain as women. You know, I'm saying these things and it's so obvious to think somebody doesn't understand that. It's so weird. Like, how do I articulate something so obvious? Now I'm looking at anything she said that I agreed with before, and then I'm taking it with a grain of salt that the message is coming from a white woman feminist that is against marginalized groups, that doesn't care about politics, that supports Trump, doesn't acknowledge her privilege at all, doesn't see, like, I'm seeing her comments and her replies are so stupid. Like, you actually still struggle with that? And I thought her takes was smart, and the takes that come from a person who is struggling with empathy toward anybody who isn't her. Yeah, the take is good, but am I missing something? Because the messenger is lacking a lot mentally. Struggling with the most basic internalized misogyny that she thinks she's white, so she's superior, she's picked. She was talking about, oh, Liz, she thinks she's picked, she's better than us. And she's acting like, oh, I'm white, I'm better than you. The lack of self-awareness. I didn't really have a lot of information about her and saw the comment. I looked at her profile just now and I'm like, that's how she's actually responding to that question. I saw the monkey emoji thing and she said that's AI. Cool. And when I first saw that, I was like, okay, maybe, yeah, it's AI. Okay, understandable, because I didn't see her replies right now. And then seeing her replies right now, I'm like, is this AI? I don't know. Like, it could be you, though. Like, maybe, yeah, okay, maybe it's AI, but this could be you.
For those that don't know, the Supreme Court ruled Monday for the Trump administration and agreed U.S. immigration agents may stop and detain anyone they suspect in the U.S. illegally based on little more than working at a gas station, at a restaurant, at a car wash, speaking Spanish, or having brown skin. That is all they need. If you speak Spanish or have brown skin, you are in danger. My family's in danger. And we have to step up. We have to be the change. We have to spread the word. Make sure to keep your family as safe as you can. You know, let them be informed. And that's the best that we can do. But, yep. The Supreme Court ruled this on Monday for the Trump administration.
Working at a gas station, speaking Spanish, having brown skin. That's now enough for detention. That's the new standard. Let that sink in. If you think, I'm a citizen, this doesn't affect me, how does an agent know that by looking at you? They don't. They're making assumptions based on appearance, based on where you work, based on what language you're speaking. Know your rights. You can remain silent. You don't have to answer questions about status without a lawyer present. You don't have to consent to searches. Document everything you see happening around you. This affects more people than you think, citizens included. Don't assume you're safe just because you have papers. So here's where we are in 2026. Safety nets getting cut, legal immigrants getting banned, profiling getting court approval, and a lot of people realizing maybe they should have read the fine print. I'm not here to tell you how to vote, but I am here to tell you, pay attention. These policies, they affect your life, not some abstract other people. You. Politics isn't a spectator sport. You don't get to sit out and then complain about the score. Stay informed, stay engaged, and maybe, just maybe, think about consequences before you vote next time. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs the wake-up call. See you in the next one.